I'm Blessing and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I think it's been about 9 months.
Hey! Hey! How y'all doing?
Guys, I don't know why I keep on doing this to you. I don't have content. I don't go anywhere. I'm in my house all the time. I literally am just at home. I don't do anything. So I'm back today with a story time and a little get it ready with me because I missed you guys and I wanted to talk to you about something that happened. I can see myself here, that's why I keep on looking here. Something that happened back in September. So I'm gonna do my makeup because I guess I could just talk to you like just outright, but at the same time I feel like just talking, looking slightly bummy, lace showing is like a bit like not me. So I'm gonna try and do my makeup at the same time as well as talking to you. If I have bogeys, I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's get started. So in Korean culture, Korea, they have the holiday, right? Chuseok. So in my school, they have like events for all these holidays, so like Christmas event or whatever. And in these events, we have like committees, and every teacher has to do at least 2 events. So I was selected to do the Chuseok event. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't excited to be a part of the event because, you know, had lesson plans to do. This year, my kids have been very hard to deal with. Like, their behavior has been like crazy. So imagine I've really got work to do, and then within the events, you have to like go to meetings, and then you have to decide what to make and stuff. So it's not as if my school were just going to buy decorations and you put the decorations up. You have to make shit. Anyway, so I'm going to the meeting and whatnot, and then within the committee we're put into teams. Okay, so they're like, okay, so this team you do the photo zone, this team you do the blah 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 blah. So my team were like in charge of decorating the gym, the library and the art room. So I was like, cool. So after that, so okay, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, as I said, I wasn't excited, but I was like, I'm gonna have to do it anyway, like there's no way I can avoid it. So I asked my team members, like, what do I have to do? Like, do you want me to make anything, print anything, find anything? And they said, no, like, you don't need to find anything. Like, we'll tell you what you need to do, like, if there's anything you need to do. And I asked about 3 times. I asked 3 times, like, do you need me to do anything? And I was told no. All 3 times, they told me no. So I was like, cool. Like, I've done my due diligence. Okay. So then nothing happens. And then it comes to the day before the event. Now, the day before events, we all have to decorate. Like, obviously, the people who were on the committee, we have to decorate. That morning, we have, like, a meeting, like a native teacher meeting, like a homeroom teacher meeting. Now, I'm already on 10. Now, I'll explain to you. I can't exactly remember what happened, but there's this guy who's a native teacher who I unfortunately work with, and on my first day ever at my school, he said, so he didn't introduce himself to me like, oh hi, my name is, let's call him like Paul. Hi, my name is Paul, like, nice to meet you, blah blah blah. He was like, oh, are you that teacher who covered for 3 months a couple weeks back? And I was like, no, this is my first day. And he said, oh, okay. So he confused me with another black person and then didn't apologise. And he's also from the UK, so it's not as if he's never seen a black person before, do you know what I mean? Like, even so, that's like not excusable. And then it was further confirmed by another person that he had a relationship, like not relationship as in like, but he had like a personal relationship with that person. So like they had spoken to each other. Do you know what I mean? So, and that person was American. And doesn't look like me. He's never met me before. So I already didn't like him from there. And then like he's just rude and weird. So then he's like gone around telling everyone that I have no social skills, and this is like a year prior. So already in the meeting, he's been like rude or something, and I can't even remember. Oh, like it was about like us, like we have to give up our classroom like at least 3 times a week, and he has never given up his classroom. I think I confronted. I was like, I just brought it up, like, you know, we all need to give up our classrooms. And he was like, I don't want to give up my classroom. And I was like, well, do you think any of us want to give up a classroom? Bearing in mind, this man's like nearly 40 years old. Like, you could be my dad and you're acting like this. Like, it makes sense. Anyway, that's irrelevant at this point. So I'm already up on 10 because why is he trying to beef me? As I said, you could be my dad. And I already don't like him because he's rude. Okay, so then there's this other teacher, Korean teacher. So him and her, Paul, they're like besties. You know why they're besties? Because, was it birds of a feather flock fucking together? Both of them are tyrants, both of them are fucking bullies. Okay? So she walks in at the end of the foreign teacher meeting being like, okay, like Chuseok committee, come here. She's like, okay, so after school, we're gonna start decorating. Okay, so right now, I'm a kindergarten teacher, so I don't teach any elementary classes. So basically my teaching hours finish around, I guess, like 2:30. We're just do a light beat today because right now, as I see, it's not going too great, but it's fine. Where's this story time? We're not going anywhere. So I'm like, okay, so that's like the after school portion. But then she's like, we're not gonna leave until it's done. Implying that, like, if we're not done, then no one can go home. And as I said, babes, I'm not even on 10, I'm on 14. So I just casually said, oh, like, I'm gonna leave at 5 though. Because, like, my working hours finish at 5. Like, why would I stay after 5 p.m? And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, we don't get paid overtime, which is the truth. We don't get paid overtime. So I was like, I'm not going to stay past 5 o'clock. I'm not going to start working for free. For what? For decoration. And then she's like, because usually people just submit to her, right? Because I said, like, she's a tyrant. She's used to bullying people. And I've never, like, confronted her about anything before. And I guess she's just not used to anyone, like, not following her, if that makes sense. So she just, like, looks at me dead in the eye and she's just like, I'm gonna go tell our manager. And I was just like, okay, go and tell her. Because at the end of the day, it's written in our contract that there's no overtime. There's no overtime pay. And also written in my contract are my working hours. So they can't be disputed. I said, fine, go tell her. And then my manager doesn't come up to me because I think she knows that I'm right. But then, okay, so we leave the meeting, whatever, the working day starts. And on that day, my kids, first thing, have like an extracurricular activity. So I have like a prep, like a free period, like a prep time. And then my manager comes to me and then she's asking me to hang up some like sign, some Chuseok sign that would have been part of my team's job. And I'm just like, okay, like, I'll help you, but I'm thinking, why am I doing this now? Weird. I'm thinking, like, why am I doing this now? And then she's also like, oh, and then you need to hang the one in the gym, which is also my team's job. So why is she telling me to just do it, like, just me? And then I hear her asking the other teacher, I'll get on to why, teacher, to hang it up too. And so in the morning meeting, like the committee meeting, the Chuseok committee meeting, the other teacher, she's from South Africa, she came and then she was like, what? She seemed busy. And then she was like to the tyrant teacher, the tyrant teacher, she was like, what do you need? She's like, I'm busy, I've got things to do. And like, because as I said, like the tyrant teacher, she's not used to people telling her what for. She's used to telling people what to do and getting her own way. Like, she's not used to people telling her no. So she was just shocked. Like, when, because that other teacher, she was like, I've got things to do. I can't be in the meeting, which I thought was kikiable. Because at the end of the day, like, why are you telling us now that we've got to decorate? We know we've got to decorate. Anyway, so they just lumped us together. The two Negroes, I'm gonna say it, the two Negroes, even though I was the only one who said I was gonna leave at 5. Even though there's nothing wrong with me saying I was gonna leave at 5 because those are my working hours. So then at lunchtime, my manager now comes to me and she's like, Blessing and let's call the other girl Blessing and Ray, you need to put the sign up in the gym. Lunchtime. And I was just like, but it's lunchtime. Like, it's time to lunch. I'm not supposed to be doing any work in this time, you know? And then towards the end of lunch, I was talking to Ray and I was like, let's just do it. And she was like, okay. And then I was just like passing comment. And I was like to her, doesn't it seem like we're being punished? Like, it felt like I was being punished for saying that I was going to leave at 5. And then, like, passing comment between me and Ray. Like, there's no one else in the gym. At that point, there's no one else in the gym. It's just me and Ray. I said to her, it's giving racism. Because Paul, remember Paul, the one who confused me with another black person, who's been rude to me for the whole fucking year. He is a horrible person. He's bullied every Korean teacher he's had. The Korean teacher he had before was an elderly woman. Like, she looked fragile. She looked like if you touched her, she would fucking break. He would not let her go to the bathroom. She peed herself. We had like a concert thing. He had the largest props. Like, no one else had like massive props. He built like a fucking pirate ship. He made her carry it. And I just said right now that she's fragile. She looked fragile, right? He made her carry it. Right. Ooh, she's a Fenty girl, even though Rihanna seems to be working with Puma, which we should be boycotting because free Palestine. But yeah, and he's made like, I don't know, countless amounts right now. Countless amounts of foreign teachers run away from the school because they made him head of his grade. And he is literally like a dictator. He's a horrible person. Horrible person. He doesn't listen to anything anyone says. Literally, the manager will tell him to do something and he won't do it because he doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to. It won't be anything to do with like anything. Like, it'll be like to do with actual school, like a lesson plan, or like the whole of last year, like we had to do something like to do with the curriculum. Like, we had to plan the curriculum a certain way, and he just didn't want to, and he didn't. Nothing happened to him. He's always in the CEO's office, our boss's office, complaining, and he's just allowed to complain. He's just allowed to get away with basically fucking murder. What is he? Let's get away with bloody murder. And he's a bully. He bullied one of my work chingoos, right? Bullied her to the point where she was thinking of bouncing, bro. And then that would have been like the 4th person who would have left work because of him. Even the manager was like, oh, we don't like him. Like, the CEO was like, oh, we don't like him. If you don't like him, why is he still here? Like, what does he have over you that he's still employed at the workplace and he's able to act like this? Can you explain to me? Right? Because, listen. So I was saying to Ray, I was like, if it was that person, if it were Paul, there's no way they would make him do this. There's no way they would make him hang the sign in his lunchtime. There's no way. There's no way. And second of all, did I say that I didn't want to help? That I wasn't going to decorate? Did I say that I wasn't going to decorate? I didn't say that. I just said that I wasn't going to stay extra. That I wasn't going to work free overtime. Basically, I just said I was going to work my working hours and then go home. As it should be. Right, as it should be. I was going to work my working hours and then go home. So we're discussing, like, it's truly just giving racism. Like, why is he allowed to basically get away with murder? She said she was too busy for the meeting at that time. She didn't say she was leaving at 5 p.m. I just said I'm going to do my working hours and then go home like a normal person. They're punishing me by making me do petty shit throughout the whole day. But, oh, man, is basically bullying people, making your turnover higher than it needs to be because he's a bully, and he's allowed to do whatever he wants and nothing ever happens to him. Like, we're witnessing nothing happening to him, you know? So I guess somebody must have walked past or whatever, or it could have been my colleague who might have said something. Last year, I told you, bless her heart. I mean, my co-teacher this year isn't bad. Like, she's a lovely woman. But you know, last year, my co-teacher, she had my back. You know, when I had that ridiculous crush, she was trying to be my wing woman. And my co-teacher this year is lovely, but you know, I think she's very much like in with the clique. And as I said, that tyrant teacher, she's head of a clique. She could even bully our manager, which she does. You know, she beefs everyone. So I was just like upset at that point because I was saying to my Korean teacher, my co-teacher, I was saying to her that like I've never felt this way before, and I mean I'm from the UK, and my family have lived in the UK. Have lived in villages in the UK, villages in Essex, where we have been the only black family, and no one has treated me like this. Like, I have been the only black person in certain areas, and no one has treated me like this. I've never felt this way in my whole life, in my whole 25 years, never felt this way. And she was just like, oh my God, like, no. And I said, it just feels that way. So either her or someone, because there was someone walking past, I saw, walking past, now told the tyrant teacher that I called her a racist. How does it's giving racism, and Paul wouldn't be asked to do this, sound like, what can I call the tyrant teacher? Lizzie. How does it's giving racism, Paul wouldn't be asked to do this? How does that sound like Lizzie is a racist? How does that sound like that?
What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
2 plus 2 is equaling 15 at this point, right? So I'm boiling. Like, my blood is boiling all day, right? It comes like after my kids have gone. So I'm just sitting in my classroom. And my work chingu comes in, and she's asking me like what happened? Like, are you okay? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I'm pissed off. Like, it's giving very much, you can do whatever you want. You fucking can't. Like, don't you question my authority. Even though no authority was being questioned, I just told you that, babes, this is in the contract and I'm not staying longer than I need to, especially if I'm not getting paid. That's how it should be for everyone, right? And like, we're just having a conversation. And then Lizzie comes in, the tyrant teacher. Lizzie comes in, and then my chingu goes out. Now Lizzie, she loves intimidation. She loves to intimidate people. But as I said, from the morning I was already on 14. By that point I'm on 17. So the intimidation wouldn't have worked. Because not only am I not your child, I'm Nigerian and I'm from London. So don't take the piss. Do not take the piss. Do you know what I mean? And what's that thing? I don't want peace. I want problems.
I want problems always.
At the same time, if you want to be a problem, I actually will beef you. I'll beef everyone. Like, I'm my mum's daughter. I'll beef everyone in this place. You want to fight? I'll fight you. Like, not physically, but like, do you know what I mean? We don't have to be friends. I'll beef you. So she comes in. She says, Blessing, you know there are no secrets in this place, right? I'm sitting there, arms crossed, defensive. I'm like, no, there are no secrets in this place. She's like, you know we're not children, right? And I'm like, no, we're not children. Because we're not fucking children, but you want to gossip and act like you're a fucking child. And then she's like, well, I heard from someone. Okay, who's someone? Say fucking names. I'm sorry for swearing so much. But say names. Like, if you're big, say names. Say the name with the chest. Anyway, she's like, I heard from someone that you and Ray are saying that I'm racist. And I'm like,
Who said that? Who said that?
gobsmacked, because I never said that, truthfully. Honestly and truthfully, I never said she was a racist. Because I actually it's something that I just never said. Right? I never said that. I said it was giving. I said it felt like racism because it felt like I was being punished. Me and Ray were being punished for something that we actually, there's nothing wrong that we did. But if it were Paul, who has been a bully this whole time, you wouldn't have asked him to do it. She now goes to me, but Paul does his work.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
Oh, but me and Ray don't do the work, isn't it? The children aren't taught. The children aren't taught. The reports that are not written. The lesson plans that aren't planned. In fact, actually, what's more is that this woman, she isn't any sort of managerial staff. She's someone else's co-teacher. She has nothing to actually do with me. So this talk we're having doesn't need to be had. It doesn't need to be had. Like, she's trying to confront me and be like, well, he does his work. Even if I didn't fucking do my work, nothing to do with you. But I do my work, right? And then she's like, we need to have a meeting. And I was like to her, no, we don't. I literally said, no, we don't. And I was like, she's like, yes, we do. You, me, our manager, Ray, need to have a meeting. And I was like, no, we don't. And I was like, if it's about me leaving at 5, which are concerning my work hours, I can have a meeting with the big boss, but I already signed the contract like almost a year ago. So I'm not really down to really discuss like what time I'll be leaving. So I'm gonna leave at 5. And that's even more like, was it reaffirming me leaving at 5 even more because of the way she was acting. Don't try and intimidate me. I was like, and I said to her, I was like, you're not black, right? So you will never understand how I feel. I was like, I could explain to her I'm bloody fucking purple in the face and you'll still never understand what it is to be me. You'll never understand why it feels that way for me. And she was like, yeah, I know, like, you know, I'm not racist, but I know, but it felt that way. And you can't tell me that it doesn't feel that way for me because you're not me. You're not a black person. You don't know what it is. You will never know what it's like. So she was like, yeah, and then like, I don't know, I can't remember how, but like, it ended. But whatever, like, the time goes on, and then it comes to like, start decorating. Now, my mood is already down because, you know, she acts very much like a high school bully. And that's what I realize about the kind of society here, is because they spend a lot of time studying almost, and I don't want to like put that as like a general comment because I don't like know properly, but it seems like because they spend a lot of time studying and not socializing properly, like how I feel like in the UK we may have, the behavior that you mostly got rid of in secondary school, they still possess at the big age of 45, 50. You know what I mean? So she obviously has told people that I've acted a certain way. So when I've come out of my classroom to then go and decorate, people are side-eyeing me and looking weird. Even the big principal is doing that. But yeah, you found a way to gossip and you found a way to exclude me. You're a big principal. From the top, you should be the most excluded from like petty drama. But she's even included herself. She's side-eyeing me and whatnot. So everyone made me feel weird. So I've still tried my best to go and decorate. Meanwhile, so my team have finished decorating early because they've made me do all that petty decorating shit early in the day. So I've gone to go see if I can help other teams. Now, they're not really talking to me now. I've tried to ask how I can help, but they're not replying to me because apparently I've done something wrong. So 5 o'clock comes, I've left. If you see the look people gave me for leaving at 5, as if I've killed their dad. That's what they've acted like. So the next day comes, and it's the Chuseok event. And when I tell you, I haven't felt that anxious since university. And in university, I had really severe social anxiety. So like I couldn't even like go to my lectures because I felt like everyone was talking about me, everyone was thinking about me, like, and it affected me physiologically too. So I'd get like really bad stomach aches. That's like how bad it was for me. And that was happening again. Like at night I couldn't sleep and I felt sick in the morning. So I got to work and I was just like upset. I called my sister and she was like, I think you should speak to your manager about it. My work chingu comes into my classroom in the morning and she's like, how are you? And I'm like, I just feel like this. And she's like, yeah, that's understandable. And then my co-teacher's like, oh, like, is it because of yesterday? I'm like, yeah. And at that point, I don't really trust her because obviously she's Chingu's. She's friends with the, what's it called? With Lizzie, the tyrant. So I'm just like being quiet and like, so the day starts and it's the first event. My kids aren't going to do anything. They're with the co-teacher. So I take that opportunity to go and speak to my manager. So I take my manager to the side. I'm like, can I speak to you about yesterday? And I was like, I felt like it was racist because there is someone here who is not black, who gets away with, as I said, basically murder, and nothing happens to him. There are no repercussions. And, you know, people could see the way I was being treated and nothing happens to him. And I was explaining to her, like, you can't, no offense, you can't really tell me how I get to perceive things. As I said to Lizzie the day before, you're not black. You're Korean in Korea. And then she was like, yeah, but I lived in London for what, 3 months? I was like, yeah, you're Korean in London. It's still not the same as being black in London. You can still feel the difference. Even though I told you I never felt that way in the UK, but like, still things, I would still be treated differently than how she would have been treated in certain situations. Do you know what I mean? And then like, the point wasn't getting across. I just still felt anxious and judged and just alienated, and like everyone was talking about me. And at lunchtime, I cried for the whole hour. Like I cried. And then that night, I had booked like a 2-day, no, like I booked like a 2-day staycation in the Grand Hyatt. So, the day comes to, it concludes, I guess. And so, usually for Chuseok, the company gives everyone, you know, a gift. So sometimes it's like a little snack. So they give everyone the snack, like a little snack set. And they give everyone money. Now, they give teachers 100,000 won. Okay, so this is after I've left work and I've checked my bank account. I got 50,000 won.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
I asked my friend, how much did she get? She got 100,000. And that just spun me for 6, not me for 9 even. And I cried, guys. I cried. The anxiety was so much. Like, I got to the hotel and I just couldn't sleep. Like, I felt like everyone hated me. And, like, my heartbeat was doing a madness. And I was just like, I can't stay here. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I felt so, like I thought I was going to unalive myself. Like, the way the anxiety was building. And, like, I already was starting. Like, I mean, I already have, like, depression. But, like, it was building up and, like, the anxiety was doing a madness, guys. Like, I thought I was gonna end it all, fam. It was, like, bad. And I know some of you might think, you're so fucking dramatic. But it was just, like, building, do you know what I mean? Especially when, like, you don't have, like, any other life besides just going to work. So, when you're at work and you feel like everyone hates you, and, like, then on top of that, the boss, the person who owns the school, is doing that, then you're thinking like, okay, so then quite clearly, like, I'm hateable, you know? And then I got to school, like, okay, so like I had the staycation, we had the Chuseok holidays, whatever. Then I got to school, back to school after that, and then my friend told her co-teacher, and he got 100,000 too. And by that time, I was just like, you know, he couldn't believe it. And he was like, that's like so out of order. And you know what? I think like 2 weeks later, I told my co-teacher, and she was like, no, that's so out of order. Like, I can't believe they did that. And I was like, yeah, that's who they are. That's who they are. That's who they are. And somehow all the Korean teachers found out, and I just honestly don't care because I did nothing wrong. And, you know, and at the time, what I'm proud of myself is that I knew that I did nothing wrong. And I'm glad I stuck to my guns. I'm glad I stuck to what I said. At the end of the day, that's the contract. What contract says. Like, that's what my working hours are. And I'm glad I didn't do anything wrong. Like, they're the ones who were acting like an asshole for no reason. And then, I guess the Korean teachers found out and they're like, why did they do that? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, you're the ones who tried to alienate me. Like, don't try and fucking do that now. And now the Lizzie teacher, the tyrant teacher, has decided to target someone else. She can't be stopped. Her and that Paul, 45-year-old man. He's only 45. He's like 38 or something. You know, he's too big, too old to be acting the way he does. Imagine, and he's so much of a coward. He can't even get in the elevator with me. We unfortunately live on the same floor. If the elevator comes in the morning, right, and he's there, I will get in the elevator. He will not. He will wait until another one comes. If the elevator is still like downstairs and we're both coming home at the same time, unfortunately, I will get in it. He will call one that's on the 12th floor. He would rather wait at the one that's at the top than get in the one with me.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Are we going to be holding hands in the elevator that you don't want to go home quickly? He's actually a loser. Like, I don't even like to use that word. Like, usually I actually don't think about anyone. Like, I don't have deep hate for anyone except Jamie Oliver. Like, he's actually like an actual dickhead. And like the way, there's even more. Can you imagine that in this basically homogenous country that there is still white privilege to this degree? Obviously, people do say that Korea is a racist country. And I'm not going to deny that. Like, I'm not going to say that. Like, obviously, I know that because as someone who's tried to get jobs before and who's applied for jobs, has been friends with people who have applied for jobs and they're not white, they will have more qualifications and they will be more qualified than their white counterparts, their white colleagues. Their white colleagues will get a reply, but they won't get a reply. And this is not me being... is there like anti-white or something? But I'm just saying that white privilege is very alive in Korea. It's alive in the world, period, but it's very alive in Korea. And you can even see that in like the media. Like if you take foreign celebrities in Korea, in the Korean media who can speak Korean, you will see a lot of like white people, or that Sam, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Sam Cherry, like he called out like the blackface and he got cancelled immediately. You know, and that's like almost like I got cancelled at work for saying this isn't right, like the way I'm being treated isn't right, and I got penalized for what? For, you know, stating the fact that we didn't get paid overtime, for leaving on time. I was bullied by being alienated. Another foreign teacher. Like, there's not really any solidarity, especially those who believe they are in proximity to either Korean culture or white culture. There's no solidarity. There was one Humpty Dumpty looking ass bitch. She was in the hallway saying my name at the top of her fucking lungs, if she keep my name out of her mouth, saying, whoa, Blessing is so lazy, she doesn't do anything. I don't do anything. I don't teach. I don't plan the art and science. I don't prepare the art and science for my kids and for the whole fucking grade. I don't do anything. I'm not involved in my year group. You should actually shut your mouth, because we don't work together. We're not involved in the same year group, so I know what you would know about me. It's because you think you're someone. Because I don't talk to you. Because you're very rude. Because if I really did open my mouth, then they would call me a bully. And this is even further proven, right? I had like a parents meeting, and guys, let me do my mascara. I'm not gonna do lashes today. I'm at home. You can see I'm in a tracksuit. We're being humble. So I had a parents meeting a couple of months ago, and a parent shouted at me as we were discussing her son's behaviour. Now, her son's behaviour is bad. And, like, I wasn't saying, like, it explicitly, like, I wasn't being like, he's a badass mother. Look, I was just, like, talking casually. And, you know, she was my last meeting, so maybe I was seemed a bit tired. Like, I know I can tell, like, when I'm like, oh, yeah, this is my traffic light system, like, yeah. But I wasn't, like, I was, like, the same tone, whatever. And she was like, you have an attitude. And she was shouting at me. She shouted at me. No, I didn't really react. I was like, no, I just have the same, like, tone. I look the same since, like, the beginning of the meeting. And then she was like, she apologized at the end. I was like, well, I apologize if I seemed like, I'm sorry that you took it the wrong way. So I think what I said. But anyway, so she called my manager afterwards, and she was like, well, I couldn't feel the love she has for the kids because she didn't smile at me the whole meeting. Am I a clown? Now, I'm not a naturally smiley person. Like, if you see me out, I will be like this. It's just my face. Like, I'm not a smiley person. Since a child, like, that's actually affected me. Like, should I throw some curls in it? Like, I'm not an actually smiley person. Like, since childhood, like, I'd be walking into primary school and my friends would be like, Blessing, what's wrong? And I'd be like, nothing's wrong. Like, I'm just not smiling. Like, there's nothing to smile about. Like, I'm fine, you know? But besides that, I feel like if it were a teacher of another ethnicity, that wouldn't have happened, you know? Because, you know, black people aren't your clowns. We don't need to seem happy all the time. And even when black people, especially black women, black people in general, I won't say black women, black men, we are passionate or a bit upset or just like nothing or neutral, we're seen as aggressive, we're seen as rude, or we're seen as mean. But when there's an actual, I'm going to point out there because he lives down the fucking hallway, when there's an actual bully, tyrant, devil of a person who is not black, and I'm not saying this is all white people because that's not the truth, and I'm not saying that, I can never say that. Someone who is not black being actively, out loud, blatantly horrible, nothing has happened. And the only difference, what is the melanin count? Because if a black person were to act the way Paul were acting, they'd be gone immediately. First warning letter, second warning letter, third, they're gone, deported, no matter what school he's been in. And I know that because my work chingu. And that's how I talk. It's how I talk. It's not me being a career boo. So don't fucking worry about that. Has worked with him before. And has said the exact same thing that he's acted like that before. So at the end of the day, white privilege, live, thriving in this country. It thrives all over the world. Look at the conflict now. There's not even a conflict right now. Look at the massacre right now in the world, because people just see the Palestinians as Arabs. They just label them as Arabs. Everyone should be fighting for human rights everywhere, but look at the difference to how they treated the Ukraine-Russia war to how they're treating the Palestinians and the human rights violations there, and about the humanitarian crisis in Congo. You're not hearing about that, are you? Okay, that is the video today. It was a bit of a story time. It was a bit of a rant towards the end, but I'm glad to get it out and to tell you guys, because I wanted to talk to you all this time. I missed you so much. That was so weird. But I hope to talk to you again soon. Please leave comments about what you'd like to see from me. Maybe it's sort of vlog, because guys, it is so cold in Korea, and also I don't go anywhere. So maybe it's about like makeup. Probably not, because this was a shit show today. Maybe it's about my cat, wherever he is. Maybe you want to see a reaction to something. Probably not, because I've never done that before. A clothing haul, something. Let me know, okay? It's been real. Stay safe, stay healthy, and free Palestine.